Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play that montage.
No need to discuss what Agenda 21 consists of. Some politics see Agenda 21 as rather a big plan to improve nature. Agenda 21 doesn't just involve nature, but also includes plans of action in regards to poverty, hunger, ill health, illiteracy, as well as the continuing deterioration of the ecosystem. Agenda 21 will only succeed the contingency of integration on both environmental and developmental concerns is carried out through the plan. Agenda 21 also suggests plans to fulfill basic needs, improving living standards for everyone, and better protected and properly maintained ecosystems. Only if the objectives of Agenda 21 are accomplished can we be assured a safer, more prosperous future. No nation can achieve this alone, however. If all nations work together to construct partnership for sustainable development, we can achieve the goals set forth in Agenda 21. Agenda 21 can be most favorable to politicians as it concentrates on fixing the current urgent problems. While these problems are being fixed, Agenda 21 also introduces plans to prepare and or prevent future problems.
Okay, Miss Beck from Oz. Good evening.
Good evening, Dave. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for coming on. We are live,
Not a problem.
and I wanted to speak to you about the fires in Australia, being that you live there.
Yes, I do. That I do. Yeah, it's not good over here, Dave. We've actually in Brisbane today. It's quite strange. We've got rain, first time in a long time, but the fires aren't actually here where I am, so it's not helping those down south. But I don't know if everybody's aware that the fires have been going since September. And the Australian fire season doesn't typically start until January and is really active January, February. February is the hottest month in the Australian climate. And since September, we've had 13 million hectares burned. And that's in all the states except the Australian Capital Territory. Now, just to let people know, the Australian Capital Territory is where all our politicians live and work. So if you think about that, every state has been affected except the Australian Capital Territory. So if we
Wow.
want to go back to, if we want to think about Agenda 21 and Agenda 30, that does a little bit of talking for itself, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have below me is south of me is the state of New South Wales that has been affected the worst. There's 5 million hectares alone in New South Wales. So out of the 13 million hectares, we've got 5 million just in New South Wales. And I mean, 5 million hectares is an area larger than the Netherlands. So
Yes, it is. I read earlier today that there was a 500 million acres burned up.
exactly. Exactly, that's acres. Yeah. So I'm doing it. I don't know if you guys go in hectares or acres, but when we're talking over here in fires, we talk hectares. When we're talking property size, we talk acres. So it's a little bit strange. But we've had 30 fatalities. A couple of those people are still missing, unaccounted for, and 1.2 billion wildlife. You know, all the kangaroos, koalas, you name it, everything that lives in the bush, 1.2 billion, not million. And that's not to mention our fauna, you know, our native trees, our native flowers, plants that we have here.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now with the properties, there's been 1,365 properties destroyed, and 501 of those were homes alone. So when we're talking properties, we're talking also farms, growing areas and things like that. So 1,365 is quite a significant number, and that's only going to grow. It's not stopping because
The,
they're not
these
stopping it.
fires, these fires are not even under control.
By no means. Now, the military was called in just to evacuate people, but not to fight the fires. So they're leaving that all to our volunteer rural fire services, which are volunteers. And, we've had one death already of a fireman whose truck was blown over, literally blew over in a firenado. And, we've never seen those here before either, these firenados.
Yes, ma'am.
I realise that the velocity of, the fire, it creates its own weather. I do realise that. However, these fires are phenomenal. They're burning things they shouldn't. And, you know, just to know that our government is doing nothing. They're doing nothing. They're doing the work, the opposite. They're actually telling the military to step down, to not help us. The
Really?
people, that's right. And if you look at the interviews, people, they're shattered. I don't know if there's any coming back from this for certain people in that demographic, because I know what happened. We've only had really two major fires like this in Australia in previous years, and that was Ash Wednesday in 1983. And that was only, I shouldn't say only, but that was 500,000 hectares. Now we're talking about 13 million hectares already. So that was the worst one up until in history, was 1983. 75 people died in that one. Then we had the Black Saturday fires in Victoria in 2009. So it's been 11 years, and that was 414 fatalities in that one. And that was blamed on arson as well. That was 500,000 acres as well. So we're talking, 12 times the amount of what was burned up in these last fires.
12
They
times the
had
amount. You're
12
talking
times.
about a substantial difference, this time. Um, yes, ma'am. I'll let you finish.
No, you're right. Yeah, 12 times the amount from the previous two worst recorded fires in history. Now, we have a little island down near Tasmania. It's called Kangaroo Island, and it's actually a animal reserve for koalas and certain kangaroos that are only found on that island. We have 30,000 koalas alone on Kangaroo Island have lost their lives.
Yes, ma'am. Kangaroo Island. I hear that 3/4 of it has burned up.
Exactly.
Is that
Now,
is that about accurate?
that's right. That's right. Give or take a bit. 30,000 koalas. As it is, this country has been struggling with its koala population for some time. Koalas actually contract syphilis, and it is killing our koala population without these fires on top. So
Yes, ma'am.
koalas they'll just about be extinct after this. You will have to go to a zoo to see a koala, and
Uh,
it's just heartbreaking.
it is. Yes, ma'am. I've seen pictures and videos of koala bears that have third and fourth degree burns, and a lot of them.
Mm.
Some are being rescued. Yeah, I hear also, and I read this article today. I would put some articles up, but it would take a lot of time to do that. I hear that half of the koala population has already been, you know, terminated.
That's right. And the koala population to begin with as a whole was very small. So we don't have many more to lose. So it will be the case of having to go to a zoo to see a koala. They're also culling thousands upon thousands of camels because they're saying camels are drinking the water. I mean, the excuses and stories that are coming out of these fires are just absurd, absolutely absurd. They think people are stupid. I'm sorry, I am going to make a statement. I think it's not that people are stupid, but most people are ignorant. And they're too comfortable and they don't want to accept that we are under a control system that is going to send us into smart cities and enslave us. And the people that are screaming this out are called, conspiracy theorists. They're called crazy. Well, it's
Yes,
starting to
ma'am.
happen. It's starting
You're
to
right.
happen.
Um,
And we
you
cannot
talked
deny it.
you talked about the military being told to stand down. Uh, does these fires, in your opinion, do they seem intentional?
Right. I'm not going to point the finger at anybody in particular, but I will say this. The conditions in Australia this year have been perfect for the perfect storm, let's say. We have tinderbox conditions. We've had the hottest summer on record. We've had the absence of El Nino, which, do people know La Nina, El Nino, which brings relief, which brings weather relief, atmospheric rivers to help douse the fires. We have an absence of the El Nino. And the thing is, they can make it stop. I'm not going to point to who's doing it, whether it be arsonists or the government. I have my own ideas, but
Yes,
I
ma'am.
am surmising. But being surmising, it is not a smart idea to say what I think there because it's only my opinion. However, what I can say is that we have Dr. David Keith from Harvard University who can
Absolutely.
control weather. The Mills Institute put out the fires in Tasmania in 2016 because they didn't want to lose Tasmania, the elites, because that's heritage listed land and they want that place for themselves come the end, come when their plans come to fruition. Now, they put that fire out. They can do the same here. So these fires are on an enormous geographic spread, okay? And the geoengineering that they do to harm us can help us. They are stopping the atmospheric rivers from being steered across the affected areas, okay? They definitely are. Now, that is where they're in fault. I'm not going to point the finger. Look, these are not like the California fires. I saw the results of the California fires. I saw so many small channels like myself posting videos and photos that they took themselves, that there was no denying the weapons that were used in the California fires. No denying it. We
Exactly.
have,
No denying.
right, no denying it. We do not need those weapons to be used here because the conditions, all you got to do is light a match. Gum trees will explode just looking at them. That
Yes, ma'am.
the gum is it boils inside the tree.
Australia has been suffering a 10-year drought, hasn't it?
Absolutely. I moved to Brisbane 10 years ago from North Queensland, and we didn't have a drought in North Queensland because North Queensland has sort of what you call wet seasons, not what they used to be, but we did get rain. Came down here and we were on 4-minute shower restrictions from the moment we set foot in Brisbane. We didn't know what hit us. It was like, what? 4-minute showers? You couldn't sprinkle your yard, no sprinklers. You could only use handheld, and this is enforced now. Full fire bans, handheld hoses every second day, only for certain amount of time to water gardens. And yeah, so I went out to our major water supply for Brisbane. I was out there on the weekend, which is Wivenhoe Dam. I've never seen it that low. It's They reckon it's at 60%. They're lying. It's 40. It's got to be 40%. You can see where it was and where it is. So we're in drought, and they can make it rain, Dave. They can make it rain.
Yes, ma'am. I know they can. They can stop the rain. They can make it rain with all these chemtrails and this geoengineering that's going on, of course. Yes, I was going to ask you about people on the beaches. Last week, there must have been, I was told, thousands down south. Do you know anything about that? There was, I mean,
Yes.
the fire was raging out of control, and there was thousands of people on the beach and in the water and was looking for rescue boats. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, they did get rescued, most of them, and the ones that didn't, that the fire did contain and burn out itself. There was no help. The fires were so intense that they reckoned it was like 50 degrees on the beach, and yeah, a lot of people were panicking. They couldn't breathe, more so from lack of oxygen, because the smoke in the fire takes the oxygen out of the air, as we all know. So these fires came right up to the barrier of the sand dunes, which some of those dunes are quite close to the beaches. It could be a buffer zone of 50 metres. Some you're lucky, you've got like a 200-metre buffer zone, but the places that I saw, the buffer zones were only like 50 metres. And when you're talking a fire of that magnitude, that's not a lot. But there was a few people lost their life due to breathing difficulties, but as far as we know, what the controlled media is telling us anyway is that nobody actually lost their lives on the beaches there due to that, due to
Wow.
being burned.
Yes, ma'am.
So there
The
was a lot
media
of
won't tell
rescues.
you.
No, and a lot of those rescues, Dave, were happening by the general public in their own boats. So no credit to the government there.
Yes, ma'am.
The private people using
Uh,
their own vehicle.
so you don't think they're manipulating like PG&E in California? You don't think there's lightning under the ground that's shooting up through the rods and running in through the electricity and burning homes from the inside? Everything, the conditions are right for the fires and the winds, the winds to feed the fires, and it's just burning. The fires are burning out of control. Is that what you're really saying?
For the most part, there was a lady
Yes, ma'am.
interviewed. There was a lady interviewed on a small YouTube channel, which is, these are the only sources that I believe. I do not believe the secular media. And this lady, now what you're talking about with the lightning underground, she said that she was next door trying to help her neighbours, and it was lucky she was, because her house blew up. It did not
Wow.
burn. Her house blew up. So in what you're saying, a lot of this, the cause, the start could be that. But once, what I was saying and meant was, once the fire gets going, they don't need anything to help it along. It's so dry that it will just go on its own. But yeah, the actual cause of it, her house blew up. Now, we've got all the fracking going on here, just like over there where you guys are. And
That's that sounds very traumatic.
very, very, to see that woman was just devastating for her, like she just couldn't believe it. Her house blew up.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that wasn't
Homes
gas
burning.
bottles.
That was part of my questions, like structures and businesses and churches. And you said the government buildings aren't being touched, but homes. What about churches? I mean, pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything. What I meant by the government, it's the Australian Capital Territory is a state within New South Wales. It's a little state within a state. It's kind of like Washington State, I suppose you would say, over there. So the Australian Capital Territory is where all the politicians live and work. And that is the only state that has not been affected.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so people
Treat.
can,
does can you tell? Have you been out? I mean, like trees from the inside. You know, when they're using weapons, which you say they're not, and I keep going to this. Trees are burned from the inside. Um, or
We haven't
even
seen any.
or even
No.
trees. Are the trees even burning? I mean, or is it just like a flash fire just going over the area and the grass so fast that the trees really aren't burning?
Okay, so well, in some places it does appear to be that, but then other places it's total devastation. Now we've
Yes,
also
ma'am.
had media coverage of California fires saying that they were Australian fires, that they were not the Australian fires. They were showing footage from the car fire and saying it was from Australia. And people are buying it. They're
Wow.
going, oh wow,
And people are buying
they're
it.
yeah, they're buying it. So you have to be very careful what you're watching. There's also been footage of cars that, when those weapons were used, and these cars were literally cut from some sort of, well, I don't want to say the words, but we know what we're talking about. They showed cars like that saying they were here in Australia, and they were not. They were not here. That footage was
So
from America.
the motors of the cars and the rims and things like that aren't actually melting.
Some are, but then again, you get alloy that does melt at a certain temperature, and these wildfires are very, very hot. But I am not like I said, I am not discounting that there is, like, I know with the spraying, I caught some amazing. I don't know if you saw my video the other day, Dave, where those colours I caught in the sun. Did you see that
Yes, I
one?
did. That was enormous. Yes, ma'am, I did. I think I left a comment on your video, and
Yes.
I've caught. I have a video or so that's small, with the colors like that. I like catching the colors, but what you
Right.
had was enormous. Yes, ma'am.
So those colours we know are caused by elements, heavy elements in the sky being sprayed. Your barium, strontium, aluminum. We call it aluminium here, so it's hard for me to say aluminum, and lithium, and a whole cocktail of things. Now, when they spray those things, that's that acts as a anything will catch fire with that as well. So that being all over the ground, that it's combustible.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we could have quite a few different reasons for these fires to be igniting. But once, like I said, once they've been lit, they'll just go. They don't need anything else to keep the fire going. So these things they're spraying out of the sky completely cover trees, grass, everything. They act as a flammable material.
Absolutely. Yeah, like in the Amazon forest. I
That's right.
watched Mike Morales, and he showed these chemtrails over the forest. It seems that these metallic aerosols, they kind of feed these fires and make it more flammable.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with all
A
the
lot of people
conditions
would
that
call
we,
us conspiracy. A lot of people would call us conspiracy theorists, but we know, like I say, we're like-minded people. On my channel, I say that a lot, and it's because we watch a lot of the same videos and we watch a lot of the same stuff, and I mean, I feel like we know more than the average, you know, citizen of your country or my country. A lot of people is just not awake.
absolutely, Dave, what people have got to understand is that there is more going on than they want to see, and it is hard to open your eyes and see this stuff. And all the word conspiracy means, which was, mind you, developed by the CIA, the word conspiracy. All it is where two or more people conspire to do something. These people are conspiring. They are. So we're not theorizing, we're conspiracy realists. So we need to change our name from conspiracy theorists to conspiracy realists.
You got that right. I know I jump around a lot, and I mean, this is kind of sort of like an interview, but I mean, please talk if you have information. But I jump around a lot, and I try to get, trying to pinpoint, exactly what could be going on. Like at night, has anyone seen beams of light or lasers? Or, I mean, when we had a hurricane here in South Carolina, and I felt like it was a radar trying to guide that hurricane. There was a blue light in the sky at night. I mean, my daughter
Mm,
took a short video. You know, that's what I'm asking. At night, do y'all
mm,
see any colors or any lasers? This sounds kind of crazy to some people, but I was just
no,
wondering, do
it's
you
not.
see anything like that?
Not personally. However, if any bit of information that would be coming out like that now from people filming it will be suppressed. So we're not going to be seeing that. The suppression, the YouTube purge has been so bad since the 10th of December that all this information is going to be suppressed. So the people that are speaking out about it and putting videos up about it that are showing footage, they'll be taken down. We won't have a chance to see it. Now, in saying that, there was a bit of leaked footage I saw that there was a TR3B flying around where there was a massive fire. Now, I don't want to get into the TR3B thing too much, but it wouldn't surprise me. Nothing surprises me with these people anymore. Nothing. It's a satanic system. People need to understand these people are Luciferians. They are satanic and they are out to control. This is not a fairy tale.
It
And
is not a fairy
there's,
tale. The
in
Agenda
saying that,
21 that a lot of us aware of is where they're going to the rural areas are being burned out, and I mean they're going to put people in compact cities. The day is coming,
yes,
you know.
yes, yes. And if not in our lifetime, Dave, in our grandchildren's lifetime for sure. In saying what you were saying about it's always a blue bear, isn't it? Usually. Now, I picked up something very early on in my YouTube career, let's call it, that was the bridge. Do you remember the bridge that went down in Genoa in Italy around about, might have been a year ago, over a year ago? Do you remember that bridge that went down, Dave, in
Yes, ma'am.
Italy? Okay, well, I studied that footage really, really hard, and I saw something that nobody else picked up. And that was one of the cams on the bridge picked up a very faint reflection because it had been raining, so there was water on the road, and it picked up the reflection of a bright blue beam about a half to a second before. I have no doubt in my mind that bridge was brought down. So, in what you're saying with those weapons, absolutely possible here. But if anybody's seen them, they're going to be hushed up pretty darn quick. Their videos won't surface. We are at maximum velocity for suppression.
How's the air quality where you live? I mean, can you
Not too
tell any
bad.
difference?
Oh, definitely. Like a month ago, it's cleared up in the last few weeks, but I had it on my channel. I didn't film that much of it because it was just the same every day. But yeah, you couldn't see the mountains here from where I am, and they're not very far in the distance. And like some days, it depends on the humidity and what's being trapped in, and it depends on the wind. But yeah, if there's no wind and there's humidity, yeah, sure, we can see the smoke up here, because most of our winds are southeast where I am. So and all the fires are south of me. So yeah, the air quality, although compared to what they're getting down there, our air quality is still quite good in Brisbane. Yeah.
Uh, Somebody I saw in the chat earlier, they said no holds barred. I mean, please, if you have raw information, you're welcome to tell it. I mean, whatever you've heard, even if it's a third party, I mean, you go right ahead and help yourself. You're welcome to tell anything you want to tell us.
Dave, you can see the chat, can you?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see a young lady in there called Megan F? I know Megan's got some information. Megan, if
Um,
you're there, Megan, if you're there, can you just let Dave know you're there, please? Megan has her own
she
channel.
she's welcome to come on. Yeah, I looked at a video today from her, if Megan F, and it's like 3.5 minutes long. And I asked for permission to use the video, but I didn't get an answer back. So I was gonna run the video. I mean, I could dig it up while you're talking.
Yeah, well,
If
that's the last one I saw. But Megan mirrors her videos anyway, so you would be able to copy them. That permission would have already been given to run that video anyway. So, but Megan should be in the chat. She said she was going to pop over tonight, and I would really like for her to come into it. There's also another young guy that might be in the chat, Dave, Shane Calderia. Just keep a lookout for Shane's name.
I mean, I can write these names down. These names: Megan F. and
Shane
Shane.
Calderia.
I mean, they're welcome to come on if they know anything. This is a great opportunity. Um, yeah, I was going to ask you, like upper class and middle class. Does it seem to be affecting any certain class of people?
No, it's down there. It's across the board. It's across the board. But if you think about that, the ones who are the upper class, let's say, the elites, they've gotten out. They're not stupid. They would have gotten out. And they've got the money to burn their places down anyway. They don't care. This goes a lot deeper than people think. Why would they do this to themselves? You know, that's the question. Like my husband, he's having trouble believing this. He said, why would they do it to themselves? And I said, until you understand the way these people operate, you can't understand why they would do it to themselves. Look, there was one of the most famous musicians in the world, Dave. His name is Roger Waters. He's in a band called Pink Floyd. Nearly everybody on the planet knows Pink Floyd.
Yes, ma'am.
He visited Australia a couple of years ago, and I went and saw his concert. And it was his last concert in Australia, Us and Them tour. And right at the end of that concert, he was giving his goodbye speech, you know, I'll never be back. And he said, listen, I just want to tell you all, they're going to kill you all. They're going to kill you all, but the stupid thing is they're going to kill themselves while they're doing it.
Wow.
He did. People have recorded that.
They have information that we, the regular citizens, don't know. Let me say the Queen just hit me up with a super chat. It says $14.99 a European, I believe. They want a shout out, and thank you very much, the Queen. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that.
Thanks, Queen. Good on you.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Yes.
Well, I can't see the chat, so you interrupt me whenever you like.
I don't no longer see Megan F. or Shane. I mean, like I say, they're welcome to come on. Thank you, the Queen. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. And it's not affecting a class of people, the upper class, the lower class. I noticed there's a guy named Michael, and I don't know what his condition is as far as his health. He doesn't seem to get across the field anymore. He does YouTube videos. I think his name is Michael J. Lewis or something like that. He's a sky watcher. He showed videos to where, I mean, the sun is like blood red on his side of wherever he is at in Australia. I'm not sure. But yes, I mean, he's shown, you can see the smoke, you can see the color of the sun. Do you see anything like that?
Yes, Dave. I've got a few videos where I've caught that myself. The problem is I don't have a solar filter for my P900. I really need a solar filter because all that it shows when you don't have one is it looks like a red blob. You know, you can't see really how bad it really is compared to if you film the red blood moon, you can see that really, really well with a P900. So without the solar filter, it's very hard to catch. So that's just got to be one of the next things I purchase. But yeah, absolutely. I've got a really good view of the sunset here, which I often film for my channel. And oh yeah, like a month ago, they were just so red, and the sun was so big. You know, it just through the atmosphere, it makes it so big. It's just crazy. We're living in crazy times, people. Really crazy times.
You wouldn't mind if Megan or Shane came on if they was in the chat?
Absolutely, absolutely. I told Megan, sorry, we say Megan in Australia. I told Megan actually put it on her channel that I was coming on, so I did expect her to be in the chat. I did.
Shaggy Villain says, I feel for Australia. I really do too. I feel for the animals. That's an iconic picture right here. I don't know if you know the story of the picture that's on our panel right here. Yeah, there's a story behind this kangaroo. Do you know anything about it? Can you see the picture on our panel?
No, I can't see it. But there's been many pictures like that. There was one of a koala, a fireman giving a koala a drink of water that was from fires years ago, and they said it was from these fires. So we're getting all sorts of crossed information. We're getting old footage, you know, mixed in with the new footage. That's how the media rolls. I don't know about the kangaroo one because I can't see that.
I'm trying to see who's coming up. The Queen, and I don't know who Scott is. I don't know if these people live in Australia. I mean, if they got good information, they're welcome to come on.
Guys, if you're in Australia, just let Dave know. And here we go. Who we got here?
The Queen. I can't.
Yeah, man.
Hey, mate.
Yes. How are you?
1 in the morning where I am, but I'm listening.
Where are you?
I'm in the UK.
Oh, okay. Welcome.
Very much.
I appreciate that super chat. Where did you say you are?
I'm the Queen from the UK.
Let me see who this is. Beck from Eyes. I figured you had a lot of good information. Scott, expat in the Philippines.
Hello, morning. How are you?
Good morning. Fine.
That's good. Great to be on your channel, Dave, 44.
Do you know anything about the volcano in the Philippines?
Taal volcano. I know that James and Ness Tanner live in Lipa City, and he had a fly with his drone day before yesterday. And on the 11th, they were at a friend's housewarming who, or blessing, as they call it over there, that live actually near Taal Lake. They've just built their house, and they had to evacuate yesterday before it went off. I know a lot of people, over probably 8,000, maybe more, were evacuated. They haven't been let in back into town and of Taal until everything settles down. But she's been erupting every now and then. It actually first erupted back in 1965 when I was born. So,
hey brother, I'm 65 model too.
Do you have any questions for Beck from Oz?
How are you, Beck from Oz?
I'm good, mate.
Whereabouts are you?
Where are you? I'm in Brisbane.
Oh, okay. We're in Melbourne.
Oh,
We're
righto. How come it's...
actually, sorry, Beck. We're actually 5 miles from the high country here. We live in Sunbury, but we've been
Yep.
getting reports of a lot of land loss. It's headed up to the border. Actually, yesterday was in Wodonga.
Wodonga, Albury.
It
Oh,
started
no.
down in Omeo and around Malakuta, and has spread all the way up to the border of New South Wales, which up around that part where Eden and that is like sort of, it's hilly terrain and fire can easily go straight through there. But down further, like where is it, Wodonga and Yarrawonga and all that are on the river where the paddle steamers go. So, but up in Wodonga, it's just spread. It's over so many. There was actually a report on it. I don't know whether it was accurate, but there was a report on how big the fires were, and actually it sort of fitted into Melbourne's southeastern suburbs by sort of that long, for example, by about probably that wide, you know. And it excuse that's my wife talking to CJ, our baby boy. Yeah, so it sort of spread, but we lost 3 fire. He's in a firefighters in a truck. It was like a fire tornado. It just blew the truck over on its side, and they couldn't get out, and they lost their lives.
Well,
Plus, we just lost another one.
Is that
yesterday.
another one then? Because there was a 28-year-old man. There was a 28-year-old firefighter, and he lost his life. And now there's another one. Is there?
Yeah, there was another one again yesterday. Lost his life fighting fires. There's a few. The Victorian government has told those that have got houses and properties there, if they don't get off, they will be arrested. Basically, they want them to get off their properties and not defend it. This fire is really ferocious. It's something I've seen it on the tally, guys, and it's something I've never seen before. Like, we live in Sunbury, and that way where I'm pointing to, the wall of our house outside is we have the railway, and we also have dry country. We haven't had rain since before around about November, and it's just dry. And you know, Australia, Beck, down here in Victoria, if you haven't had rain, and the gum trees some of them tend to dry up. But as I did say on one of my videos I did the other day, which I didn't mean to, I wasn't making fun. I was just basically saying, when those eucalypts go up, they go like that, you know. They just burn. They got so much fuel in them, and it's koala bears and kangaroos. Like, kangaroos can get away very quickly unless they're trapped, but koalas can't because they live up in the gum trees. So it makes it hard for those. And after seeing one of them walk through fire yesterday to try and get out of it, it's really heartbreaking. You know, it brings you to tears that we have lost, I think, nearly 20,000 of our native wildlife, let alone farmers' stock, cattle and sheep. So it's not good, but we've had a couple of fires up here. We've had fires up near Emu Bottom, which is a homestead down the road here. It was about a mile off. Some say it was kids lighting fires, and they ran into a police car. But what it was actually a harvester that hit a rock, sparked, and it went up, and it took all up to the top part of the hills which we on this side this way. Sorry, I'm pointing to my right, but it's showing I'm pointing to the left. But it's burnt quite a fair bit of land. But even out here at the back of us, the railway, it's just dry. I've got trees up against the fence. Now, I've got to ring Metro on that to find out if they could come down and at least clear some of those away from fires, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, well, you know what councils are like too. I'm
That's
trying
right.
to our fence to the right of us needs repairing, but the council has turned around and said that it's not a priority.
So, what do you think that I've shared my thoughts on the fires and the starting procedure of them? I think a lot of these are just, like you said, just a spark can start them off. But
Well,
do you think it's
sorry,
part of an
Beck,
agenda here?
Sorry, Beck. No, I don't think it's an agenda. We've got a few loose cannons. You know, I sort of blame the government in one way. They really should have kept the asylums open. The psychiatric ward, like, you know, we've got one up here in Sunbury, which closed down ages ago, then became a school and closed down something else after that, and now it's just completely empty. But the old buildings are being left because of historic value to them. But no, the fires that were lit up around Omeo and Malakuta were deliberately lit by some silly bloke who they have caught. He's 36-year-old and he's been sent to jail. He's been charged, and I don't think you'll be seeing the outside for quite some time. But
I'm sorry the Queen left. I don't know. The Queen took herself off. I'm sorry if you felt uncomfortable. The Queen. I was running a video from Megan F. I seek permission, and I thought it was very interesting. Here is a video running from Australia. It shows the koala bears. It shows the wildfires. I mean, it shows structures. It even tells how many deaths in the video. So Australia is on fire. Is pretty much what it's saying.
Yeah, well, it seems, it's not good. Some of it can be lit by. We've all seen Tull volcano go off, and to see the impact of the lightning in that is so unbelievable. Like, you look at it, it's a natural disaster, but it is so amazing. Yet in the same breath, it is so devastating for us humans on Earth that we have to come up against something like that. But that when you see fires like what we've got, firestorms are similar to what in a similar way to the volcano erupting where the lightning is, and as soon as it hits the ground, Beck and Dave, it can cause a spark, and especially if the ground is dry. It just rages furious, and those shots there are so devastating, and people losing homes, and that up north and over towards our northeast and southeast. Thank you to the Australian Navy and to the US Navy for evacuating people from Malakuta. We really do appreciate that. Look, Malakuta is really burning, and there's a few places they've airlifted them to Sale, and probably to Hastings, which is further back. My brother's wife's mum lives in Inverloch, which is not far from there. they'll probably be next to be evacuated. But as you can see, the fires sort of are rage. I don't know whether have you got fires up there, Beck, in Queensland?
No, they're a bit scattered. I just went to Bowen over Christmas, and a lot of Bowen had fires, and Bundaberg. And here we're quite fine here.
It's not good. It's really
But
sad.
in saying that, okay, so I said the same thing, that a lot of the fires, let's not worry about them being purposely lit at all. What about the fact that the government's not putting them out, that they can literally steer atmospheric rivers from above to put these fires out, as they did with the Tasmanian fires in 2016? The government can literally make it rain. Did you know that?
No, I wasn't aware of that. Sorry, Beck.
Okay, well, yeah, it's called
Really
geoengineering.
I always thought that was a farce, but thanks for correcting me on that.
No, they admit it. They admit it now. They're very proud of it, actually.
We're kind of dealing with two different situations. The Philippines is having a natural disaster, and these fires in California, a lot of them are, they're created, just like the fires in Australia. The conditions are right, and the winds pick up. I mean, we truly believe that, and we have a lot of, evidence that proves that the governments are doing these fires.
California was absolutely attacked. That was war. That was war on the people. There was no doubt that California fires were started, and we know how.
I don't know anything more about the California fires because I can't criticise on that.
Yes, sir. The Paradise Fire over there, they burned out. In the Paradise Fire, they completely burned out this community. I mean, thousands of acres. Even the trees, they took to the logging business. The trees were untouched, but the houses alone were completely burnt from the inside out.
It's not good. Like, America's had their fair share of disasters, actually quite more than any, with like floods and rains and stuff like that, especially up around the Mississippi and the Delta there, in Atlanta and around Louisiana and all that. But Tail volcano, if you see the way it went up and all that, and the lightning and everything like that, with our fires that we have here, same sort of similarity but different. Lightning strikes will hit the ground and will cause more fires. I think last reported there was 78 fires still burning, and that's a lot. Mount Buffalo, all the ski shallows. I don't know whether if you've been up there skiing or whatever. We were up at Lake Mountain, which is not far from there, and all the mountain resorts, they're trying to save Mount Buffalo at the moment. We have all our, which I think is ridiculous. We have all our power supply up there, but only basically because all our dams and reservoirs, the big major dam for Victoria is up there, and the snowy hydro, that's what I was trying to think of, Beck, is up there, hydro. And that guides all the power for Melbourne. If that goes out, we lose a lot of, we don't have computers, we don't have TVs going because we lost power to all of our, especially fridges and stuff like that.
I put the link in the chat. If anyone here would like to come on and ask Beck from Oz any questions about the fires or have any information they to share with us.
I'd like to say thank you to Lisa Lavender too as well. She sent her prayers to us here.
I pretty much, Beck from Oz promised me an hour. And it's been 55 minutes.
Oh, Dave, we can keep going. Keep going. If you're happy, Dave, I'm happy.
I'm fine. Whatever you want to do.
Let's keep going.
Yeah,
So I can't. I'm sorry, mate. I can't. The screen is so small for me. What was your name?
I'm Scott. Scott,
Scott.
expat in the Philippines. I
Right,
started my
Scott.
channel actually in the Philippines.
Right.
Because I'm a helper for also Terence and Beth Martin there in Bohol. Before they had to get their non-profit all sorted out, but now everything's fixed. We're not going to go into that. But even Bohol's had their fair earthquakes. It's funny actually, Dave. Before Christmas, White Island in New Zealand erupted, killing I think 18 people, Australian tourists. They knew it was active, but all of a sudden it just went. Then just before Christmas, about probably 4 weeks, I was talking to check out the Rileys, Bill and Mercy, and they were having earthquakes there in Mindanao. And now we have 2 volcanoes, one in Taal, which has erupted, and the other one is another one not far off Manila, is smoking as we speak. But I don't know whether that is active. But, I like to put it down with all the bombings and stuff that the government's done on Iraq and Iran and that, it's got to stabilise the earth. But not just that, I also think, Beck and Dave, that a lot has to do with all the minerals we are mining out of this ground. You take a lot of rich mineral deposits out of the ground and it will unstabilize the earth. But we've had volcanoes ever since dinosaur, so it's nothing new. It's just all of a sudden we've got 4 volcanoes inactive up near Colac, Alvey, if you know Victoria. There's about 4 or 5 volcanoes up there. There's one here in Sunbury, which is a very old volcano, dormant. They're using that as a rubbish tip. I don't think that'll be ever activate, whether it'll ever activate itself. But we've had a few little earth tremors here over the past. Nothing spectacular, but thank goodness. But all the natural disasters, whether they're caused by man, especially a 36-year-old wandering around the bush lighting fires.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
He was a firefighter too, so it was sort of funny that he's lit it deliberately, and then it's like, oops, what have I done? But they caught him. No. They got him. But I think he had something wrong up here.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of the natural resources we're taking from the ground, like fracking here in America. We're having small tremors, all over the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? In Utah, in Oregon. There, yes, we have tremors that are picking up. We've had a small tremor here in South Carolina, matter of fact, and we normally don't have it. Fracking, the natural resources. Do you know they're taking sand out of the oceans, and that's causing the lands, the continents to move somewhat. The moving inches every year. Back from us, I followed you for months. I remember you came out and you was doing videos, and you came out with a video. You was like, now I see it, and it's Australia, that they are spraying the skies. And this probably 8 or 9 months ago, you was like, I've seen it in America, but now I see it in Australia. You know, sir,
Yes.
Yeah.
Scott, I don't know if you know
Yeah.
about chemtrails, you know, and geoengineering. We're
No,
not
I don't.
conspiracy theorists. You know, we know what's going on, what the governments are doing, the New World Order. You know, I'm taking a chance on my channel. I want to get this kind of information out there to everyone, and especially people like yourself that don't really know. Like these fires are planned. It's for a new world order to bring people into cities, compact cities, you know, to keep people from living in rural areas.
Yeah. That's good.
You
I'm
don't
glad
believe
you
that, Scott?
look. Hey, Dave, while we're on that subject, don't change your channel. Don't change your channel name. Keep it at Dave44 because it's good, right? Yeah, we've got a lot of good topics. First time I've been on here, but I will get to watch a few more of your videos. I'm got like yourself, got so many subscribers, and you just got to try and get to everyone as much as you can and best as you can. But your channel, what you're doing is great, and it's good, and it's great information. You got to tread softly in some parts and do a lot of research in other parts. But I wouldn't change the channel, mate. I'd leave it as it is, Dave44, because it's a great channel. And like me, I started my channel. I'll tell you how I started my channel. I started my channel because I do work with Terence and Beth. There was a little baby called Baby Faith.
Sorry,
And she
guys.
took
Could I just interrupt you, Scott, just for a second? I'm so sorry, Dave. I'm just going to go down and grab a drink. I'll be back in a sec.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
all right.
Thank you. The
Okay.
Queen, thank you for $1.99. I'm going live. Can you get me to a milestone? Anyone here don't have the Queen? You know what to do. I do grow channels a lot of times. I'm going to do that once a week from here on out. I hear people complaining, you know, saying, is that all you can do? I'm honored to have Beck from Oz to come on and talk about the wildfires. Do you know? I mean, really, half the animals are gone, and I have a major concern. These people,
Yeah,
you know, they are trying to cause the end of the world. They're trying to bust the veil. They're trying to make, they're trying to bring out demons and things on the earth. Sir, there's a lot going on that really a lot of people has they have no understanding what's going on. And we really believe these things. I'm telling you,
I agree with
there's
you.
there's a lot of information out there on YouTube. And a lot of it is bullcrap. A lot of it is porn, you know, it's fear porn. We're not pushing fear porn. We're bringing out the truth because a lot of people does not know what's going on. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, Dave. But as I was saying,
When it hits your country in the Philippines, when it comes there, the New World Order is to move around from country to country. It's happening in Canada. Can you believe it? Where it's very cold in Canada and it snows, they have fires burning people out. I mean, there are thousands of people missing from the Paradise fires. Where did these people go? Where did they go? Nobody knows. There's thousands of people missing.
yeah, I agree with you, mate. Solely. But as I was saying, with how I start, basically with Baby Faith, that's what started my channel. Helping her seeing a new light, a way, you know, young kids need to be helped and families need to be helped, and you know that's what I like doing. And you know, you can put your money into big charities and stuff like that, but they only get a small percentage of it. Where through my friends, they get a decent. Doesn't matter whether it's a big donation, whether it's a small donation, they get it. And I love doing it. And but my niece actually did all the artwork for me channel. I've just decided to keep it. I'm not going to change my channel for anyone. I'm not controversial like you, mate, but you know, it's great. It's great that you are, Dave. You know, because without people like you, we wouldn't know what was going on. And I applaud you 100%. Congratulations. You're doing a great
Thank you
job.
very much.
And,
I just
you
want to get
know,
the truth out there, sir. That's all I care about. I care about getting the truth
whereabouts
out
are you
there.
in America?
I
Sorry, Dave.
mean, do you know there's patents? They have, you know what a patent is? You come out with a product.
Mm.
I mean, there's patents on geoengineering where they are spraying the skies, sir. They thinking they going
And
to cool the planet. They're thinking they're going to cool the planet or the earth in the long run. I have a feeling, and I believe that they're going to heat it up. And you know what they're doing? They're blaming your SUV. They're blaming your lawnmower. They're blaming your chainsaw. One plane that Nancy Pelosi rides on, it puts out more emissions than all cars combined in history. Do you know that? I mean, they tell you a
Oh,
bunch of bull. They won't tell you the truth, but they tell us a bunch of bull crap.
yeah, that's true, mate. And look, I've got to go. But congratulations on your channel. Thanks for letting me in. Much appreciated. It's great. And Beck from Oz, when she comes in, just let her know I've had to go because
I'm
I've
here.
got some family
Thank
chores
you
to
very
do.
much, Scott.
Thanks,
And
Scott. Thanks.
actually,
I'll visit your channel.
there's my dog. It's Snowy. She's part of our family on Scott Expat in the Philippines.
Nice.
She's part of the
Nice.
family, and my little boy, TJ, who I love and adore so much. But yep,
Beautiful
thank you,
dog.
Dave, and thank you, Bet, for the talk
Thank you,
and
sir.
the discussion.
Scott
I will be
Expat
back
in
on
the
your channel again
Philippines.
once soon.
I appreciate it, sir.
We'll
Thanks,
Thank
be
you.
back
Scott.
soon again. Catch you later.
Bye
Thanks,
bye.
Scott. Bye-bye. Bye. We're back.
Back from us. A lot of people probably look at us like we're damn crazy, and I know
You're
I've
not wrong.
watched and I've looked at enough videos. I've seen these patents, especially like Richie from Boston. I've looked up some of these things. You like Mike Morales says, you can go to the Texas DMV and you can get a license to spray the atmosphere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, if
And
people, if y'all, I love saying y'all because that's what you can say. If y'all want to grab some pen and paper, I'm going to just give people a couple of channels that they need to go on so that they can get a bit educated in this, Dave. So we're just going to, steer people in the right direction for a bit of education here, because not everybody knows the things we do. And like that man, Scott, very well-meaning Australian, he's just uninformed. And I'm sure once he gets informed, and educated, then he'll be able to see what really is going on. And like I said, look, at the end of the day, it does matter where the fires started, but at the end of the day, the thing is they can put them out, and they won't, because if they didn't start them, they don't want the fires out. So that's what it's all about, and people are ignorant to that. Even those in my own family think, why would they do that? Why would they burn their own people or themselves? Well, we know why. We know it's part of the agenda. Get them in smart cities. Get the rural people out of the rural places. Make us dependent on the government so the new world order can come through, and we have to rely on the government for everything.
good evening, Mike Decker. Thank you. I watch your chemtrails with your P900. I believe that's what it is. Awesome zoom in, man.
Mike.
That's why I'm.
Mike.
Yeah, Mike Decker, man. Thank you very much for coming in. I really
It's in.
appreciate it.
Oh, Mike's in the house. Mike, I was just going to give your channel over. I was just telling people to get some some paper and a pen, and I was just going to give people a couple of channels for education to educate themselves in what we're going through. And Mike, you're at the top of my list. So, guys, if you can remember Mike Decker, he does some awesome footage of the chemtrails. I don't know how you do it, Mike, how you zoom in to those planes like you do. I've got a P900, and Richie and I, we struggle with our zooming. And Mike Morales channel, guys. Mike Morales. And go over to Richie from Boston. A lot of people don't
Thank
like
you
Richie.
very much,
I
Mike
don't care.
Decker. I appreciate you. I watch your videos. Man, please be careful climbing them mountains and things, you know. We're getting older, dude. We're getting older.
That's a
Be
man
very
after my
careful
own
out there.
heart. That's a man after my own heart. I'm an abseiling instructor, so I know what Mike does, and I don't know if you do it anymore, Mike, but yeah, I mean, we don't have canyons and mountains like that here in Australia, so yeah, that's pretty brave.
I'd like to get Mike Decker on one day. I had Bruce Seasall. I've had the Morning Dew. I've had Jeff P. on my panel. And I have Beck from Oz tonight, y'all. The link is in the description to her channel. Yes, it is. Anyone here don't have Beck from Oz? I was saying earlier, Miss Beck, I followed you for months. There was no chemtrailing going on in Australia 10, 11 months ago. And you came out with a video saying, I see it. You finally saw it. I mean, you was like, I've been seeing it for years in America, you know, in videos. And that's how long I've been following you, since you've had about 60 subscribers. And you put out a lot of good information.
Months.
You know, you talk about the Bible and a lot, 99.9%. I agree with you. And that's good information. And I really appreciate you.
Thanks, Dave. We had a lot of scalar waves here the other day in the sky. You could see them in that video I did with all those the chembo in front of the sun there. That video I did, there were scalar waves, and I said to my husband, "Look at this! Look at the way those clouds are. You know, look at all the lines in them." And he goes, "Oh, that's normal." And I said, "Yeah, since when? Do you remember when we were children?" And he went, "Oh, yeah." And I'm thinking, no, people just don't want to see it. They don't want to admit it. Even people in our own families don't want to admit this stuff because it's hard.
That's right. I'm going to put my email in here for Mike Decker. I would want it to be a show of just me and him, you know, basically. I'm going to put my email in the chat, and if he will email me, you know, and I'll send him the link one evening, like we planned this, Miss Beck. You know, I was going to do this Saturday night, y'all, and it's been raining in South Carolina for 4 days straight. I mean, the rivers are flooding.
You're lucky. I'm not lucky.
Well, yeah, we're lucky.
Getting rain.
You're getting fires. We're getting floods. You know, there's all kind of stuff going on.
Yeah, when Scott said before about, oh, you guys, you've had your natural disasters and that, and I'm thinking, well, most of the disasters you're having are not natural. We know that they're engineered. And another good website to go on, guys, is geoengineeringwatch.org. Dane Wigington. I don't agree with everything. However, he's on it. He's definitely on it.
But I definitely listen to Dane Wigington.
Yeah, and if you definitely just want to see it, if you don't believe it's happening and you think they're condensation trails, go on Mike Decker's channel, please.
I mean, if you have any more to say, Miss Beck from Oz, you're welcome to say it.
I think we can wrap it.
I'm pretty close to being out of questions. Do you see a lot of plane activity there? I mean, do you see a lot of plane activity going on, ma'am?
They do it at night here. They do it at night, Dave. I've caught 2 during the day, And it's almost like they knew I caught them, because then I haven't been able to catch them during the day, literally red hair like Mike does. But you wake up and you see it, the result in the morning, and it's a webbing, it's a matting, it's not clouds, and they last for hours and hours and hours, and they just stay in that shape, in that blanket. It's a yeah, that's the only way I can explain it. So they do a lot of it here at night.
I missed calling out a lot of people tonight, but I wanted it to be about you, Miss Beck. I really appreciate it. I feel
Thanks.
sorry for the animals. I mean, if you think we should pray for your country, I'll be glad to. If you want to pray, you're welcome to do
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. I just ask you all to join me in prayer, guys, because it's not affecting me personally, but people are just devastated and have to start all over again. And a lot of people aren't going to make it through this, that there will be suicides. Unfortunately, that's just life. It is reality. So, Father, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, I pray that you save our country, that this evil, Father, I rebuke the evil that has come upon our country. I pray that you put a covering over us and over the whole world, Father. I know that you can stop this, but I also know the plans of the wicked, and I know prophecy. I know certain things must come to pass. So in saying that, Father, I pray that Jesus comes quickly. I pray that this all wraps up quickly, for the animals' sake, for the people's sake. And I pray for the saints, every single person who calls on the name of Yeshua, Jesus, around the world. I pray for all of us to be under the protection and the covering. Most of all, I pray for strength and courage in these days, that we can stand what is about to come upon the world. Father, we know things are going to get worse before they get better, but we know those who are in you have comfort and shelter, and we do have a rescue that is you, that you can still our spirit, Father, that you can help us to overcome these things so they will not overtake us. That is the most important thing. Courage, strength, wisdom and understanding to understand why these things are happening. I pray people seek out your word to find out for themselves the prophetic nature of what is happening in this world and why these wicked, evil people are doing this. Until you have a spiritual understanding, you cannot understand it. So open the eyes of the blind, Father. Those people who still are not understanding that these chemtrails are real, that these fires may be caused by the enemy. Father, open their eyes and let them see. We love you and we trust our lives with you unto death. In the name of Yeshua. In the name of Yeshua. Thanks, guys.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, when I watch your videos back from Oz, I get a great understanding. I mean, like you say, there's devastating things coming. I mean, life is and I just, you know, I'm a person after God's own heart. I am imperfect, but I strive. I feel for Australia. I feel for the animals. I mean, this world is suffering, and the oceans, the fish are becoming extinct. The birds are falling out of the skies. Where are we going to end up? That's what are we going to see in our lifetime? It's very important for us to be aware.
Absolutely. I'll just tell you quickly before we go, I went to North Queensland over the New Year's break, Christmas break, and we used to dive up in Bowen all the time on the reef. That's dead. The marine life is gone. It wasn't even worth me filming on my GoPro when I was diving. It's gone. I don't think the world can recover And people need to understand that there is a plan, and it is a plan of hope for a future for those who love him. But for the world and for those who don't want to know him, this is the plan for the world. It cannot recover from this.
Megan F is in the chat.
Megan.
If she wants to come on, she's welcome. I put the link in there.
Megan, if you've
does
got
she live in
anything
Australia?
Yes, she does.
I mean, she's welcome to come on. She don't have to. She can hide behind the avatar or whatever. She don't have to have a camera on her. I mean, whatever. But she is welcome to come on, you know. And if she has any more information, we don't want to sit here and pass this opportunity up.
Guys, I've got my camera turned around because I didn't want to hold it for a whole hour because I'm on my mobile. Dave, I've got no really want to show you. Dave, hear me?
Ma'am, it broke up.
Can you hear me, Dave? I've got something I want to show you.
Yes, ma'am, I hear you.
I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what I bought because
Go
of
right
you.
ahead.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready. Don't porn bomb me now. Hey, yes, ma'am. Thank you. You look beautiful.
I got a Super Dave Westgate hat.
That's awesome.
I put that on just for you.
Thank you very much. Megan F., I have no idea how to. What you do is click on the link. If you're on your cell phone, in the bottom right-hand corner, there'll be a little gear. And you have to click on that gear. And then you'll see you have to activate your camera and your microphone. And then you come into the studio. Yeah, there's a few steps. I didn't get it at first. The other day, I saw a good deal on an Apple computer. And I don't have that kind of money, y'all. But just imagine what I could do with 1 terabyte of storage in a brand new Apple computer, man. Wow. I can't imagine how my channel, you know, the things and the effects I could show and how fast it would be.
Yeah, I'm the same, Dave. I just run off my phone and film on my P900, and I even have to get my son to download that to put that on my channel because I'm so computer illiterate. It's not funny because we grew up, we didn't have computers, so you know it is what it is.
Beck from us, it's been an honor to have you on. I really appreciate everybody in the chat. Ryan in North Carolina, Raul
Ryan,
Garcia,
hey, Ryan,
Megan F, Ocean's Gypsy, Keeping Up with William. It just goes on and on. Mike Decker, thank you. In Vino Veritas, Jack Johnson. It just goes on and on. Some spread lies, others know the truth. Yes, Real Garcia, Fishing and Outdoors, Keeping Up with William. Thank you all. The Soot Say. We had Shanna Honia in here earlier. Maybe she's still in here. Lisa Lavender. Yes, she's still here, I think. Raul Garcia. It just goes on and on. Megan F. Again, Kenneth the Kentucky fam. Everybody, I really appreciate you. I don't know if I missed your names or not, but I didn't pay attention to the chat. Thank you, Beck from Oz. I love and appreciate you, and I appreciate this community. I'll be praying for your country, and everyone, please, let's keep praying for Australia.
And us Aussies, we pray for you guys because even though we're going through these fires, you guys get hit from all different angles. You've got tornadoes, earthquakes, floods, you know, they're just hammering you. And, you know, we've got the Cascadia, we've got the Ring of Fire going off. Cascadia's on the move. It's, guys, also Emergency Management Associates channel. That is an excellent channel to get the latest updates for earthquakes, because Action Sense has been taken off YouTube last I saw. Every single video of his was taken down. So Emergency Management Associates, that's Ron over there. And yeah, check that channel out, please, because he's right onto it. We've got things happening that the USGS is not telling us. They're underestimating all the quakes, and people need to be prepared. No matter what, guys, you should have an emergency management program anyway, no matter what. But just have your shoes beside your bed, guys, and a bug out bag. You know. How's the vegan F going? Is she trying?
I don't know if anyone heard my Agenda 21 recording at the beginning of this video.
Play it
I
again,
had
Dave.
some stuff. Go ahead.
Play it at the end, Dave, to exit out of here with.
Yes, ma'am, I'll do that. It's Agenda 21. You heard it, didn't you, Miss Beck?
I did.
It's 3.5 minutes long. I downloaded it on my cell phone. I'll do this here last. Anybody never heard this? This is just a brief explanation of Agenda 21.
And is an all-inclusive plan of action that is to be completed globally, nationally, and locally by organizations of the United Nations system, governments, and major environmental groups in every area in which humans impact the environment. Agenda 21, the Rio Declaration on Environment and Development, and the Statement of Principles for the Sustainable Management of Forest were all adopted by more than 178 governments at the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, which was held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, from June 13, 1992 to June 14, 1992. Within the same year of 1992, the Commission on Sustainable Development was constructed to make sure there was a successful follow-up of the UNCED and to monitor and report on the amending and prohibiting of agreements at all levels. All 178 governments agreed that a special session of the United Nations General Assembly would be called in 1997 to review the progress of Agenda 21 after it was first introduced 5 years prior. Agenda 21 was a topic thrown around like a hot potato between these 178 until it was affirmed at the World Summit in 2002, held in South Africa. Now you know about the government, organizations, and a brief history of how Agenda 21 first came about. But we still need to discuss what Agenda 21 consists of. Some politics see Agenda 21 as rather a big plan to improve nature. Agenda 21 doesn't just involve nature, but also includes plans of action in regards to poverty, hunger, ill health, illiteracy, as well as the continuing deterioration of the ecosystem. Agenda 21 will only succeed the contingency of integration on both environmental and developmental concerns is carried out through the plan. Agenda 21 also suggests plans to fulfill basic needs, improving living standards for everyone, and better protected and properly maintained ecosystems. Only if the objectives of Agenda 21 are accomplished can we be assured a safer, more prosperous future. No nation can achieve this alone, however. If all nations work together to construct a global partnership for sustainable development, we can achieve the goals set forth in Agenda 21. Agenda 21 can be most favorable to politicians as it concentrates on fixing the current urgent problems. While these problems are being fixed, Agenda 21 also introduces plans to prepare and or prevent future problems.
Thank you, Beck from Oz. I pushed my channel to the limit tonight. I just hope I don't get a strike or anything. I'll find out after this live stream.
Hopefully you'll be all good, Dave. Thank you so much. May the Father bless
Thank
you,
you.
mate. You're doing an awesome job. You're doing an awesome job. I pray for you every day.
Thank you. I love and appreciate you.
All right. Bye, everybody. See you
We'll
later.
be praying for you, praying for your country.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a great guest tonight, Beck from Oz. I've been following this lady for many months. I watch her videos. She's very earnest, very sincere. She's a great lady, y'all. If I can bring more channels like her, you know, way out into the opening, I will do so. I discover channels all the time. And it is channels like her that I endorse and I push. Her link is in the description. She has been a great guest tonight. Everyone, thank you so much. What a wonderful time it's been.